What up, though? This is Knockouts and Three Counts. But before we bring you another episode of Podcast Gold, let me tell you about the homies over at Michigan's Finest. Do you ever find yourself trying to get yourself together and thinking, man, this is going to be a great night, but I'm looking for that little extra something? Well, check out our friends at Michigan Finest. If you are into medical marijuana, recreational marijuana, concentrates, vapes, anything of that sort, Michigan's Finest has got you covered. And as you can see here, it's all easily done by their website. It's all curbside, and you'll be in and out in 2 minutes. And they're family owned and operated, so customer service is their number one goal. And now, since they are rocking with Knockouts and Three Counts, use the code KO3MF. Yes, that's KO3MF. You get 10% off your entire order, but that does exclude featured items and items that are already on sale. But if you use that code, you're getting 10% off your items, and I promise you, either if you're looking for that big knockout or you're ready to hit the sheets for that 3 count, Michigan's Finest will get you together. Tell them Knockouts and 3 Counts sent you, and I promise you, you're going to be having a great night. Peace.
This is the Ring of Honor, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Ross, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts and 3 Counts.
We got it, the new world champion!
That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockouts and 3 Counts is the podcast, baby! It's the real deal, baby!
Knockouts and 3 Counts starts now.
Ooh, what up, though? You are not the father. Rest in peace, Jerry Springer. Jerry in this mug. It is Knockouts and 3 Counts. It is draft day because NFL draft is going on right now. You got the WWE draft 2023 edition starting tomorrow night on SmackDown. We've got a lot to talk about. So, to talk about these things, it's not just me, it's not just J-Bone. While Corey's out doing his fucking thing in Myrtle Beach, we've got the return of our guy, Chris Connor, all the way from Massachusetts. And we've got one of the original 4 in this motherfucker. We've got Pepper Kyle is back on the show. And that beard is looking real peppery, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I had to put some food coloring in to make it look that way, so I would, apply to the nickname. No, it just happens with age. Good to be back on the show. Haven't been on in a little bit, been doing a lot of other stuff, but once again, Kyle, you've been doing a great job shepherding the show from what started with just 4 guys in a bar in Dearborn, just talking wrestling. What we've been able to see you do with the show. It's been really good. Talked to Kev earlier today. He sends what's up. I've been talking to Devin about the NFL draft back and forth, but good to be back. OG Kyle, if you know me, it's Team Chaos. You can find me on all social media, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. That's at Team Chaos, and Facebook page Team Chaos. What's going on, guys?
Not shit. What up, though, Chris?
Not much. As I said, we get the NFL draft, we got the WWE draft, we got the fallout from Davis and Garcia. 1.2 million buys. I mean, think of that. For 2 guys who wasn't for a major title, neither of them are really like the pound guys. For them to sell that much, like even talking with PBC guys, before the fight, they would be happy. We're like, we get 600, 800 buys, we'll be very happy. This blew even them away. I mean, everybody is just happy right now, and I think if he can stay, out of prison, you could see Tank Davis maybe the next big boxing star in at least North America.
I can't argue that at all, bro. Like Tank already had a lot of the hype coming into this. He said it in the pre-fight interviews how this was going to be Ryan's first big trip to the dance. And he proved to thrive under pressure and really put in a great game plan. And like we talked about on Tuesday's show, just like I fucking told you, if you guys are new here and are maybe newly subscribed, all of you guys checking us out after Clarissa Shields press conference and all those good things, welcome. If you're new here, and talking NFL draft and WWE draft, welcome. But on Tuesday's show, I was telling people flat out, period, and I said it going into the show, into the fight, that I thought that Tank was going to start a little early. I think he knew that everybody was kind of looking at him like he was going to come out, slow. And that's why I said I thought that Ryan would have to weather the storm. And obviously that's not what happened. I mean, Tank got him in the second round, and then he hit him with the liver shot in the seventh, which, as I said on Tuesday's show, bro, I took one of those in a boxing match. It's the worst punch I've ever taken in my life. So anybody who says, oh my God, how did he just get up? Dude, your body shuts off. And then when your body snaps back into it, you're all right. But it's the nastiest punch I've ever taken in my life. So, yeah, definitely a good thing. I think it's great for boxing. I think hopefully we have more big fights and things like that. But only time will tell. We'll see if Spence and Crawford happens.
I think it will happen. I mean, it has to happen. It's just I don't think it'll be as big because neither Spence or Crawford has that personality. I mean, so Crawford's very quiet, doesn't like doing pressers, doesn't like the media, and Spence is like that Texas, low key sort of dry humor. Neither of them have that, the presence, so it'll do well. I just don't think it's going to be as well as what people hope it will be.
I don't know, man. I feel like if the fight still delivers, I feel like that's exactly what we're going to get. I feel like if the fight still delivers, we'll be all right. But, dude, in the background over here, I've got the NFL draft going. I figured by the time that the show happened, I was going to be able to tell you what the Lions did. And now at this point, I'm still going to get to be able to anyway, because now we're at the number 12 pick now because we've traded our pick. What are your guys' thoughts, man? I mean, I was keeping up with the draft. Before we got in here. They said this is the first time that we've had this many quarterbacks go in the first round since I can't remember when. And so we're already off to a crazy start. Houston's putting their nuts on the table and saying we're here to play. So what are your guys' thoughts so far in the early part of the first round of this draft? And what do you think of the move by the Lions?
Who's taking it?
Whoever wants to go first.
I like Brad Holmes. I like what he's doing with Detroit. Trading the number 6 overall for essentially a high number 2. I do think knowing Arizona was a little more desperate than we thought, especially for them trading earlier in the first round. I think you could have got a little more than a second round pick. Even if it is a high second round, I would have liked to have seen maybe a 4th or a 5th rounder in there because you basically just traded down 6 spots for a second round pick. I do.
Well, they're still at number 12.
Yeah, no, I mean they weren't 6, so they traded from 6 to 12 and then got a second round pick. I think you could have traded up. I traded for at least another 4th or 5th rounder, get at least 2 picks for that 6th pick, knowing that this is a very touted draft. There are a lot of teams that need a lot of holes filled. Seeing quarterbacks go 3 of the first 4, that really did mess up a couple people's boards. So I'm interested to see. We're 1 pick away from the Lions pick right now. I do have faith in Holmes, so it wasn't the pick I would have made. I would have tried to get at least a 4th or 5th rounder, but like I said, to quote my boys over in Philly for the last couple of years, I'm trusting the process.
I think it really screwed everything up when Witherspoon got taken because that was a guy that was like linked to the Lions. Like, hey, this is the guy they like. He's the cornerback that they want, kind of like in terms of his attitude, his coverage. I think when he got drafted number 5, I think that threw Detroit. Went, okay, our guy's not there. We don't want to reach. Let's trade down. And it's tough when you only have like 10 minutes. You're trying to get a trade involved. Trying to figure out, okay, if we trade down, will this guy still be available? I mean, they could take if they take Christian, Gonzalez with a 12th pick. If that's was their second round guy, it would have been no harm, no foul. They picked up an extra second round pick, or a very late first round pick because there's only 31 picks of this year's first round. Then we'll call the win. But as I said, it's when you lose that guy and then all of a sudden you're like in free fall. It's sort of tough to figure out. Okay, how much can we hold out? How much farther can we go down? Who's going to move me up? And because we've seen like so many trades. I mean, we've already had 5 trades in the first 10 picks already.
And 2 of those are Arizona.
2 is Arizona, yep. Like, I think you made a great point, Chris. It just, once Witherspoon went off the board, that was kind of our guy. So now we're going to need to step back a little bit. Like you said, we don't want to reach. We don't want to pay for somebody that we don't really need. But now we're sitting at, what, 12, 18, and 34, correct? Is that what the picks are?
Yep.
So a lot of talent there, man. It's a deep draft. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen. We're only about 1 pick away, I think. So you guys got
Titans
predictions
pick is it. So
Titans, they need a lot. They need a quarterback, but I don't think they're going to reach for that right now. I think they need either a defensive tackle or a wide receiver, because outside of Henry, you really don't have a lot of options, and you saw that when he went down last season. Their season was over until he came back because they don't have a lot of weapons, and Tannehill is extremely limited. Tannehill is going to be who he's always been.
Extremely limited. That's one guy I stayed away from in fantasy football. He just don't even put him on your radar. Just down at the bottom.
I made the mistake season before last of picking Henry, like 3rd overall, and then he went down for about half the season.
Same.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a second, he's still available at pick 3?
We all suffered that season.
Yep, not doing that again.
I mean, I was gonna say they could take Zay Flowers because they also need wide receivers. Ever since they traded away A.J. Brown, we saw like last year there was nobody from the Titans who could get open. So who the hell knows? I mean, they need a lot, and for a team that's 7-9, it's like, oh crap, they really need a lot of talent.
And that window is really closed on them because Jacksonville, they may have legitimately arrived now. So that window they had over that division is getting a little shorter. You got it's not Stroud. I can't remember who just went to the Colts.
Anthony Richardson.
Yeah. So you got you only got maybe another season to where you can really try to get something out of the team you got now before you got to start going to a full rebuild, because the rest of the division, they're coming.
Do you guys take a quarterback? I know that's the big question for the Lions. Do you take a quarterback in this draft?
Not in the first 4 rounds. You've already seen that Goff, he can manage the game the way you need him to, the way they built this team around him, the pieces that he has. He can be successful in this. Even though I wasn't going to be scared of him if he had stayed, I'm not scared of Aaron Rodgers. So even now that Rodgers is gone, we can take this division. Chicago, I like what they're doing. They just had the 10th pick. I like what they picked. They picked the offensive tackle, which they need to protect Justin Fields. I'm a big Justin Fields fan, but I think the Lions can succeed with Jared Goff behind center for next season.
I think it depends on how you view Will Levis. I mean, there's some people who say he's going to be a franchise quarterback, and if he's available at 18, which he could slide there, and you have Lions go, okay, we'll take him. We took our defensive player with the 12th pick. Let's go with the guy that we can sit for a year and go, okay, figure out, when we can let go of Goff. If you don't think Levis is, the guy, that's, then you have a hard conversation. Okay, what do we do next? Because you got to find somebody. I think Goff is good, but he's not going to be a guy who, when you take on the Mahomes, the Burrows, the Allens, the Herberts, or, the Jalen Hurts, he's not that guy who can go into a shootout. When you saw that in the Super Bowl, it's like, you need that. You need a guy who can go toe-to-toe with these quarterbacks and go, all right, I can make the big plays. I can, leave a team. I can basically beat good defenses when my defense can't stop anything.
So here's my thoughts with this whole thing. Like, I think I'm not mad at them doing the trade, because with them doing the trade, like you guys said, I really kind of feel like they were heart set on him. And when he was gone and off the board, then they were like, okay, let's see what we can get for it. What I do like is it's nice and refreshing, and us as Detroit sports fans know this as well as anyone. It's just refreshing to actually see somebody be. It seems like they got an idea of what they want to do, their strategy and what's going on. Because too often in Detroit's drafts, whether it was the great Darko Milicic or, you know what I mean, just all the different shit that we've had happen in the draft as Detroit sports fans, I feel like it's just nice to see for a change where it seems like the people that we have picking for us are picking with a strategy and are picking with a purpose, and they know, or at least have an idea or a plan to what they want to do. As far as Jared Goff, I don't think we necessarily need to pull the trigger and get rid of him right now because, like you said, I think he's still managing the game well. And I think after he started to get more used to our system and playing with this team, I think he also proved that he played much better football because I was also very critical of him when he the first few games myself. So that said, I don't think we're in a position where we necessarily need to get rid of Goff. But if there's a quarterback that they can get in the later rounds, that would be a good person to nurture or somebody that you think would fit well with our offense. And in that case, I'm okay with it. But I don't really think that we're in a spot where we need to jump the gun and get rid of Jared Goff. So
our pick is in right now.
Yep.
Here we go. Let's see what the Lions got. Live reaction. What do they got?
All right, Holmes. Let's see what you pulled out.
By the way, shout out to Ernest Silva of Intro the Lab. He just texted me saying, yes, I am chest bumping and high-fiving my Texas fans. You know it. They're very happy about, the boss move by Nick Caserio, second and number 3 pick overall.
Hey, like I said, they put their balls on the table, man.
Definitely. Got to be aggressive, man.
Come on, Lions. Please do something good. Let's go. What do we got? Wow.
They're reporting it's going to be a running back with the number 12 pick overall. Ian Rappaport says Jahmyr Gibbs. That's
Alabama.
I don't know if I kind of hate the pick. It's running back you can get anywhere. We saw that. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs star running back they got in the 7th round. You don't need to take a running back with the number 12 pick overall.
I think that just opens up what's going to happen with Swift. I think Swift.
But remember, they just got rid of the running back, our short down running back. So, I mean, getting another running back in there,
you have 3.
Could stir up our back.
3 backs. Now you have Montgomery, Swift, and now Gibbs. I don't like it.
It's tough. It's in a tough position, but
I don't know that running back would have been what I picked, to be honest.
We still have 2. I mean, we still got that 18th pick and the 34. I mean, we may acquire more. We might be out of here tonight. It could happen.
If they don't go for defense on number 18, I'm really going to be concerned.
Yeah. You have to focus on defense.
You have to. That's our biggest opportunity. I mean, we gave up the most points in football this season.
Yeah, but this is where you should have taken a defensive player because you have the Patriots, you have the Jets, you have the Packers. All those teams are going to be looking at going, we might need a cornerback. We might need a defensive player because a lot of those defenses need either help in the secondary or help in the front line, in terms of defensive end. This is where you should have taken, either Gonzalez or even Porter Jr., not a running back that maybe people thought was going to slip all the way to the 2nd round.
Yeah, most reports I saw earlier today had him going out of the first because, I mean, it's a dying
The Lions
position.
are like losing their shit about getting this guy. You see this right now?
Well, that's Dan Campbell. I mean, I got to ask, this is a big question because you are a Lions fan, Kyle. Will you be at training camp giving, Dan Campbell a bro hug and doing push-ups with him? Because after Hard Knocks, I could see going, that's my guy. That's the kind of guy I want, have a beer with.
I mess with Dan Campbell right now, dude.
He'll start doing push-ups and crying and all that. And that's the kind of guy that you want.
I mess with Campbell right now. My only thing is this. So, I think I like Campbell, but, man, the only thing as a Lions fan, and I think J-Bone and Kyle can both attest to this too, is that, boy, sometimes when we get down to those game time, crunch decisions, sometimes I'm just like, what the fuck? For the majority, I definitely like Campbell. I like the fact that at least, you know what, we've seen noted improvement, and at least the guy goes to try to win football games.
Yeah.
But
for me,
I will say that's the one thing that scares me.
You could be the baddest motherfucker in the room, training camp, on the field, in the office, it don't matter. If you ain't producing wins and notable wins, none of it means anything. And not only do you have to win here, you have to change the expectation of the entire city. The entire culture has to change under your watch. I feel like we're going in the right direction. We're active, we're aggressive. But like you said, it comes down to those game-changing plays because it's always just, if we did that, we probably would have won that game.
And the thing is, with those, it's usually an obvious one. It's not like, the ball could have went. No, it's like, no, you shouldn't have went for it on fourth down there, or you shouldn't have called for a screen pass on that play. Like some of his the situational management does need to improve. We did lose Deuce Staley, so I am a little concerned about that because I like Deuce. I liked a lot of the energy he provided, and I think he was one of those guys that was in Campbell's ear that could hey, maybe we shouldn't do this one. Why don't we try this one? I'm not liking that pick. I'm getting a lot of Eric Ebron energy with that pick, to where it's like you already have somebody at that position.
It's funny you say that because me and my buddy Dan were just talking about him though.
That was a pick
we were
I remember
about
that
him.
vividly.
When he went to Indy, though, he played way better.
I'm like, you picked a tight end at 14?
Yeah,
really?
I mean, I understand tight end because okay, we started seeing it with Gronkowski, with Kelsey, with Dalton Schultz.
Tight end's always been an underrated position.
Yeah, and they become now the modern weapon. But running back is. People even said you no longer care about running back in the NFL. You can pick them in the 4th round, 5th round, and you'll get a good one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that you got him at 12, so you traded down to pick a running back in the first 15.
Ultimately could have had later, probably in the 3rd round, 4th round, maybe.
And the fact that if you're that in love with the guy, I really hope we can see what you loved about him. But you have pick 18. You have 6 picks away. You could have went defense, and then if he's still available, which he most likely would have been, then you could have got him because the Packers aren't going running back. New England's not going running back. Hell, they could go quarterback from some of the most recent reports that have been coming out about how Belichick feels about Mac Jones.
Did I just see on that last commercial that the XFL's already going to its championship game?
Yeah, it's week 10.
Yeah.
I've been watching it weekly. I'm really enjoying it. I watch it.
But damn, the season's already over. Shit.
I have a couple friends that are into football, soccer, and one thing they brought up to me, they said if the XFL does continue to keep the momentum it's getting and gets a little better, one day you might see the NFL, XFL, and maybe USFL come to an agreement to where you could see the best XFL team getting promoted to the NFL and maybe the Carolina Panthers getting regulated to the XFL because they're so bad.
I don't see that, but
because some of these teams are that bad.
They probably got word of that, and that's why the Texans are so aggressive in this draft.
The XFL, I say it's really good. I recommend it. It is a high level. I think from what I've seen the last 2 weeks in the USFL, it is a step above the USFL. There are some teams that you can see have guys that were not making it to the NFL, but there's about 3 teams in the XFL that have NFL quality talent on there to where it makes the games really interesting to watch.
Here's what I'll say about the XFL. It's a good product. It's being run, I think, the right way. I think the goal is that they want to be the minor league farm system where NFL teams go, okay, we have, these backup quarterbacks, these backup running backs. We want them to get playing time because they're not getting a lot of here. We'll send them to the XFL. We'll have them develop, and then they'll be ready by training camp. Because we see that a lot where it's like teams are going, all right, we have a 7th round draft pick, but we a quarterback. Can't play him during regular season. We want to actually get him playing time, and there's no way they can do that. It's not like Major League Baseball or hockey or even basketball with the G League. It's like there is no developmental league. So I think that's what the XFL wants to be like, the developmental league for the NFL, where they'll get name brand recognition, they'll get better quarterbacks, and they'll be like, all right, yeah, we're a developmental league, but hey, still you get to watch football when there is no NFL.
And now we have year-round football, which I'll always be happy about.
I like it, bro. Talking about developmental and all these things. We've got developmental in the world of pro wrestling as well, or at least that's what they like to claim it is, in NXT. And we've got the start of the WWE draft headed in on Friday. on SmackDown. So with that being said, before I get into the WWE draft part of the show, shout out to our other sponsors of the show, G3 Payroll and Tax. If you haven't gotten your taxes done yet, what the hell are you doing? But if you haven't done so, make sure you hit up our sponsors, G3 Payroll and Tax. Make sure you tell them Knockouts and 3 Counts sent you, and Jack will get you together for tax season. With that being said, here's the thing.
Hold on.
We head into
there's going to be Patriot tears. They traded the pick once again. Bill
to the
Belichick
Steelers.
is trading down.
What the fuck
I am not surprised. I am not surprised at that one.
That is a Bill Belichick.
That is the most Belichicking thing to get. So now,
well,
whoever
it looks
they
like
pick
the Lions
is going
traded
to
their
be
pick
all
too,
pro.
because we were supposed to have what, 16?
No, 18.
18.
No, 18 and 12. So they made
Oh
12.
shit!
They had the
Okay,
18.
okay, my bad. I thought it was 16. I was like, shit, we traded our pick again too. But
So who
yeah,
do the
dude, we're
Steelers
headed.
go with now? They're on the clock.
We'll have to see. But dude, so we're headed into the WWE draft. I'm not gonna go like a full mock draft thing. I figure with the 3 brands, we can talk about people that we think would be good for a shakeup and places to go, especially after we've seen the new unveiling of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Say that 3 times fast.
Tongue twister. That's what I'll say. But
I hate it. I hate that title.
Chris,
I really hate that title. Just have Roman Reigns drop the belts. I mean, it's almost like we can't have Roman lose. No, have him lose. Have like the Usos cost him by accident, or Solo Sikoa costing him by accident. He just goes full on like just batshit crazy and attacks all his family members, to where The Rock has to come in and save them in WrestleMania next year. Now
That would actually be an improvement, because then that'd actually be moving the storyline along. Because since WrestleMania,
yeah, we're kind of stalled out here.
Just doing the same promo.
once-
Even
once-
Jay said, he's like,
once
Sam,
we
you
get
say the
into
same
it-
thing every week.
Once we get into it, I got a little situational drafting that might evolve that storyline going forward. So we'll get there. Because I know people like to draft like star-based wise. I like to draft story-based wise. So I like my
All
draft
right,
picks to
well,
something. You know what I mean? So
you go first then. Who do you want to see? Who do you want to see go where? So since we're talking about Roman, and we'll start with SmackDown, who do you want to see go where?
I don't think you can pick anybody other than Roman Reigns at number 1. I don't think that's an obvious one. There's no way. You got to be watching wrestling blind and deaf to think that Roman Reigns is not going number 1. But number 2 overall to Monday Night Raw, I think this is going to be the first big surprise and shock. I think their number 1 overall pick is going to be Gunther. That's what I'm taking right off.
That is the most Triple H pick right there.
That is an eye towards the future. You get the Intercontinental title. That means something. And it's not Cody Rhodes. We'll get back to that later, if that makes any sense. So you want me to stop there? You want me to keep going?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay. On the other side, back to SmackDown number 2, it is Cody Rhodes. Keep that story alive. Give that little edge there. Back over to Raw. I'm taking Seth Rollins.
All right, what do you got for NXT?
I'll just do my 5. I didn't do much drafting for NXT, but I don't think the right
Is
guys
there
are
anybody
gonna-
you want to see come up to Raw or SmackDown?
I do. I mean, I'd love to see Braun Breaker, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think that's so expected that it's not going to happen. I think it's going to be Grayson Waller. I think Grayson Waller is going to be that hated guy, that hated pick that moves up from NXT. If I'm picking somebody down there, it's going to be Grayson Waller.
I can
That's
see
from
that.
right there.
I can see that.
I'm going to throw a wild card out here. I think it's going to be pretty deadly, because we've already seen them written off.
I keep hearing their name.
Mm-hmm.
And they are that tag team that you need to have somebody. You know, there are almost no other tag teams really in either Raw or SmackDown. It's like just, let's throw Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Hey, let's throw Braun Strowman and Ricochet. We have nothing else. So you need to get somebody. I mean, you need to get some tag team in there. Otherwise, like, just what are you gonna do? Just have Usos retire the titles?
Yeah, you need something fresh. You need a fresh coat of paint on the show, and then that'll work. I love that.
I like that. Do you got any picks, Chris, as far as who you'd like to see go where as far as Raw and SmackDown?
I'd like to see, wherever Roman Reigns is, whether it's Raw or SmackDown, probably Raw because that's, that's still the moneymaker. That's the one that, they draw their money on. Then, all right, you know what? Put Seth Rollins on SmackDown and let him be the world heavyweight champion with blah, 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 blah. Because you got to be, it can't be Cody Rhodes. If you do that, you might as well just crap on him and crap on the entire, the whole storyline means, there's a jury to like, no. We want Roman Reigns to try to break the Bruno Sammartino record if we can get away with it and not have fans just tune out. I'll say this. I think it's time to put Austin Theory on SmackDown and start pushing him heavily. I mean, you need somebody. I mean, I know everybody loves Gunther, but Gunther's as old as Cody. I think he's even older. So it's like you need young talent to develop. You need to start pushing guys who are under 30 or else we're going back to let's have Brock Lesnar win the title again. Hey, let's dust off Goldberg,
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Ugh, don't say that name, please.
Oh,
Flashbacks.
They regurgitate the legends. Like you need to start developing young talent, as Brad Shepard said on my podcast, or else will have zero, and I mean zero, fans after a while because they're just looking, going, okay, we saw them back in the '90s. Why should we watch them when they're in a walker?
Yeah, I mean it's a great point because this draft, I think this means a lot more for the younger talent. There's guys that it's going to mean a lot more where they land. Like people like the LWO. Montez Ford is a huge wild card in this draft, I believe. I think the Street Profits are going to get split at some point in this draft. And I think we're going to start seeing
I think that could definitely happen.
That's actually what was going to be mine. I think that because you're going to see a tag team get split up, I think we have reached that inflection point. You have to split them up. And I think Montez goes to Raw. That way he can still be around his wife. And I think that this will be one of those people you start seeing getting that rocket ship put behind him because it's time. The fans are behind him. The man is a future face of this company. He's somebody you can put a belt on, put a suit on, and send him to the Today Show and be proud of what you're seeing at 7 a.m. on your TV to promote your product. I think 1, Roman, SmackDown. I think 2, Cody, Raw. I think 3.
You really want Cody to go to Raw though? Because don't you feel like that damns that whole story?
I think the fact that they are putting him in a feud with Brock now, they're trying to push him away from that. They want Roman to get that Bruno record. They want him to go over 1,000. I think there's nothing. We all knew.
Sure, but I feel like everything that's happening at Backlash is already set up, though.
I think they're gonna put that because you spent enough money and energy behind Cody to make him one of the faces of the brand. They're gonna put. I think they're gonna put him on Raw to put him as that marquee guy, and the fact that you have a technical heel champ on SmackDown and technically he is a baby. He's the most white meat baby face of this generation. A baby face on Raw. I think that's a go, and then that way you can still have guys like Brock. You still could have a lot of feuds you could build around them. But I think that I see that one being like the most WWE decision.
All right,
I just can't see them. Let me jump in. I can't see them having Reigns. He's held the title for almost 3 years, and we're talking now 6 years, I think, for Bruno Sammartino. Will fans put up with that, or will they just start going, screw this? Why should we even watch when he doesn't? When we have a part timer doesn't want to show up, he always wins, and they're not pushing anybody. I mean, I think you have to have Cody beat him if you want to, even get guys like MJF, Wardlow, all these young guys who are coming for contracts in 2024. If you have Cody just get crapped on, they're going to look and go, why should we go WWE? It's Vince and Triple H looking, going, if it's not one of their guys, we're going to get screwed. Screw this. We'll stay at AEW. I mean, you got to do something. You got to take the title off of Roman. It's time now. He doesn't want to be there anymore. He wants to do part-time, be with his kids. That's great. So take the title off. Have him be a special attraction like he did with Brock.
The problem
right,
is
let me
the
jump.
problem is you can do that special attraction, but they really seem to have a hard time doing that because you could have done that for the last 3 Brock reigns. Just have him pop his head in. He's a draw by himself, but what did they do? They put belts on him because they wanted to make sure that Roman is the biggest face of this generation, the new John Cena, the new Babe Ruth. And that's just what they just keep wanting to put that belt on that part-time guy to make him just the deal. I mean, hell, what was the reason putting it on Goldberg? Goldberg was even less credible than them, and they put the title on him, and he was the most part-time of part-time. For some reason, they just like having the last 5-6 years a part-time world champion.
All right, let me jump in here for a minute though. So here's my thing. I'm not mad at all that I mean, here's the thing. I get what you're saying with Roman not being around as much. But here's the thing. Number one, he's definitely upped his game 1,000 since they did this whole bloodline thing. And that's undeniable because if there was no Roman, there is no bloodline storyline, and for it to have gone this long and for people to have been this hyped about it, that doesn't happen without Roman. That's
Imagine telling somebody in 2014 at the Royal Rumble what we would like about Roman Reigns right now.
exactly my point. That's why I'm saying the guy has elevated his game astronomically, in my estimation, at least from where, like you said, where he was getting booed out of the building. So my point to saying that being, I don't have such a problem with him having one of the belts on SmackDown, but where I disagree with you at is I feel like Cody has to beat Roman. With this whole story, I feel like if he's going to win the title, it has to be off of Roman for the simple fact that if you don't, then that kind of, like I said, I just feel like with the way this whole story has gone and played out, I look at the Brock thing from a different angle. I was at first like, why the fuck is this happening? Until I thought about it in this sense. While all of us that are on this show watch AEW and everything else, so we know what Cody was doing and know what Cody was doing when he was in Ring of Honor, a lot of WWE fans don't. I think what they're doing and having him go against Brock Lesnar is having him go against, like you said, Kyle, one of the biggest stars that they have in WWE and has been one of the biggest stars every time he comes in for the last how many years. You have him come in, and eventually when Cody gets through this and ends up being able to beat Brock Lesnar, it only makes Cody a bigger star and makes him a more credible threat to Roman Reigns, which is why, as far as who I think should go where, I think Roman and Cody both need to go to SmackDown. As far as Raw, I'd really like to see Zoe Stark come up from NXT and go to Raw because we need more women. And Zoe Stark is fucking money. If you haven't been paying attention, I don't know what to tell you because I feel like she would do very well on either of the main brands right away. If you're going to keep the women's tag team titles, I would also like to see Kaden and Katana come up and go to the women's tag team division because they're a legitimate tag team. So at least it adds another real tag team and not somebody that you just got to throw together just because.
Or how can they coexist champions, which is WWE's favorite.
Facts. I'd like to see Damage Control get broke up. I'd like to see Io Sky go to SmackDown. I don't know where you want to send Dakota Kai. Maybe send her to NXT and then Bayley to Raw.
I want to see more from Bayley. I've said it since we started the show. Bayley is one of my favorite women's wrestlers. I think she really has every tool you would want in a female wrestler. Now that Sasha's gone, Charlotte has been more part-time now that she's married and wants to start having kids. Bayley is the one you can focus on to really be a pillar and a real litmus test of the next generation coming up. Build Bayley back up and have her really go against a lot of the young talent to really start putting them over.
And
let me say something let me jump in. I want something that's, I hate it sounds mean, but don't they have to start releasing people? They have too many people on the roster. You have people in like Eric Young, they signed. It's like using catering. If you want to promote these NXT people, it's like where are you gonna put them? There's not enough time on the 5 hours to get all these people from SmackDown, NXT, Raw. Like if you can bring up NXT people, and I'm for it. Braun Breaker, Zoe Stark, Roxy Perez, Pretty Deadly, Grayson Waller. You need to release guys who don't want to be there, guys who are a bit long of a tooth. Just spring cleaning. It sounds terrible, but you have AEW, you have Impact Wrestling, you have MLW, you have all these other organizations that would select and pick them up in a heartbeat. Like, it's time to just clean the roster. You have too much people who are just there for the sake of being there. Like, the Hit Squad does not need to be on the roster. Get rid of them. They, when Swerve left, they just died.
Wasn't there a recent talk of there being some kind of big release with the merger and everything?
They said that there's supposed to be a bunch of cuts and things like that. So that's definitely something that could happen. And we've already seen teams like the Grizzled Young Vets say that they want out of there as well. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that we're going to see a lot of people move around. But I do think if everything stays as they say it's going to, and the fact of Triple H being the one who's watching over the creative, I do think that we could see a lot of moving around though in this draft though. I really do. I think we could see either people that, like you mentioned, somebody like an Eric Young who's maybe sitting and catering or something of that sense. I think this can bring a door for some of those people to take spots once people start getting moved around. I think there will be eventual cuts, but I think that they're going to really have to try to mix things up. With him saying that Roman is staying on SmackDown, I feel like we're going to maybe get back to a little similar to the original first draft, where it was like you could only see this person on this show, you could only see that person on that show. You know what I mean? I think
being the H is a traditionalist, I think that's probably what they'll do, being that he's head of creative. I mean, literally, we have a new belt that is a 3.0 of Big Goldie. That's how much of a traditionalist this guy is. Like, he loves the history and the lineage of this business. And honestly, and he's admitted this himself, if it wasn't for that first draft, is he really the Triple H that we know now? He is one of the people that truly elevated during that brand split. I mean, he had a reign of terror with 3 H's in the middle of terror on Raw and became the golden shoveler that we all knew he was in the mid 2000s. I think he would appreciate the fact that if you have two different shows, you make them distinct. I'm an old school guy. I'm a SmackDown 6 guy. I love SmackDown to this day because of that. That is my favorite era of wrestling, coming from Attitude into Ruthless with that brand split. I wasn't rich. I didn't have basic cable back then, so the only time I get my wrestling was on UPN 50, watching SmackDown at 8 o'clock, and that's where I fell in love with Eddie Guerrero. He's my all-time favorite wrestler. That's where I fell in love with Rey Mysterio. That's where I fell in love with Edge and Christian, Chavito, Kurt Angle. That's how you make fans, and that's how you really build the brand up, especially since they said that they are going to be having distinct brand pay-per-views again. I think that is a really good idea to make them appointment viewing. You can't expect everybody to watch all this wrestling. So if you do have a product that you can get 2 million people on a Friday night on network TV, then you build that brand up.
Kyle, I'm going to present a situation here for the draft. I just want to know where you guys stand and what you would do as far as this. But you still got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn holding both tag team titles. Are you opposed to these guys getting split during the draft on separate shows, taking the titles each going separate ways?
Hell no, you don't split them this soon.
How do we get back to splitting the tag titles per show?
It feels weird with them too, because it's like either thing you do is the most Kevin and Sammy thing you could do. Keeping them together feels right, but then splitting them up and then them basically coming versus each other one day again. They're gonna do this forever. I'm of the mindset, if you have two brands, you split the titles up, because they're not gonna wrestle on Monday.
Yeah, you have to, but how do you do that though is the question.
I'm not going to build another belt. I'm not going to create another tag team belt. I'm just going to split. I'm just going to split those up. Let's stop while we're ahead. We don't need
I'm with you, but I'm saying, are we still going with the red and blue belts here, or how are we going to split them? How do they lose like one versus the other?
Just have a black and gold belt. Triple H likes his branding. Just have a nice, make it. You want to be uniform, go uniform, and for God's sake, get rid of those gladiators on there. And that's just a horrible design. they've ever had.
Hey, if we're bringing back old looking belts, man, let's bring back the 1988 to 93 tag titles or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? The ones that Demolition had.
Yep.
Those are my favorites, man. But I'm an old school wrestler.
I appreciate the fact that the new World Heavyweight belt does look enough like the Undisputed belt to make my heart shine, because that is my all-time favorite.
I see
belt
big
design.
gold belt.
I mean, it's obvious what he's going for with that, but I'm like, from a certain angle, I'm like, okay, kind of looks like what Eddie and Brock first had. I like that. That's my all-time favorite belt design because it was just clean, didn't do too much. Like Big Cookie, it looked a little too big in certain parts, but Glow was a little big. Winged Eagle, yeah, it was nice, but some of those edges looked like if you bent over a little bit, it was gonna take your kidney out. Undisputed belt, nice, classy, black and gold. Didn't have any other clashing colors. Just chef's kiss
with that.
I just want to split everything up. You got to split it up.
Okay.
And look,
how would you split it though?
Just easy 3-way. You do a 3-way, tag team where it's, let's say Pretty Deadly versus the Usos versus Owens and Zayn, and you have a double pin where, let's say, while Pretty Deadly is pinning Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens pinning with Usos. There you go. Well, because both men have won at the same time, we will split the titles up. It's this way it protects everybody. It's the Usos can say, hey, well, we got screwed. Sami Zayn and Owens can basically go, well, we're still the champions. Pretty Deadly doesn't look bad. I mean, you got to do something. It's getting to the point where it's like the worst thing that WWE always used to say was, hey, we're not doing an NWO thing where they ran roughshod and made everybody look stupid over at WCW. You're doing that with the whole bloodline. It's gotten to the point where you're literally going, all right, everybody else sucks except the bloodline. Like, you have to start breaking up the bloodline. You have to start getting new talent.
Well, I think we've already seen the cracks, but I like the storytelling part of it though, man. Like like we said, I agree with you. Since WrestleMania, it's kind of turned its wheels a little bit, but overall,
it's the same thing.
But overall, man, we're only talking about, we're not even a month out. So, and we're about to go into the draft.
Guys,
I'm saying
earlier,
go ahead.
When I said I got a situational piece for that bloodline to start putting the cracks in the bloodline. So what I was proposing earlier, Roman goes number one, obviously. Usos get drafted there. Later on. What's been holding the bloodline together with victories for Roman Reigns?
Solo
Sikoa. What if Solo gets drafted 5, 6, 7?
I love that, because they need to start building him as the individual one, because he's got it.
And the guy could have great few depending on who's over there. You could have him run with Rollins, Finn, maybe a couple matches. Who knows where everybody? Brock could be over there. Gunther. The matches they could have potentially down the road.
They wouldn't do it, but you know what I'd love? I'd love to see Solo versus Dom.
You know what I
would
mean?
love to see Dom
Judgment Day over to Raw.
Kind of Steve in that. I think that would be
what
good.
I mean? And the only thing is, if you take Judgment Day to Raw with Rhea Ripley, I think you have to take Bianca over to SmackDown with those two belts.
Well, you would, because she's got the SmackDown belt, so you'd have to.
Now, okay, so real quick, if they do trade champions, do you want to see them just walk up to each other and swap belts again?
At this point, I mean, you don't want to.
I got a better idea. I mean, to be honest, dude, I like the fact that Rhea said that she wasn't done with Bianca yet. I mean, I wouldn't be totally mad at the idea of saying, look, I'm not coming over here and doing like Charlotte and Becky did and just dropping the belts. You and me got unfinished business. Let's fight, not to unify the belts, but let's just fight to see who's better. And at the end, we can both go our separate ways with titles, but I've got unfinished business with you.
Real quick on the NFL draft, I think that one really just screwed the Lions over. Christian Gonzalez.
Those damn Patriots, man.
Oh, that really did that.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Those damn Patriots. We were just talking all that Bill Belichick shit, too. And here we
Damn, he just got the...
Here we go. The Lions are... Go ahead.
Watch the Lions trade down to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Chiefs now draft Zay Flowers just so that the Chiefs can go, Yeah, you know what? We want 2 more Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes wants another wide receiver. NFL's going to make it happen. Like, all right, let's just do this so that Patrick Mahomes can keep on being like Tom Brady, Roman Reigns / Michael Jordan of the league, and it just everything he wants, we're going to give it to him.
I think they have to trade now because that one really busted a lot of mock drafts because the fact that he was at 17. Oh.
All right. Well, we're in great anticipation for what our beloved Lions are about to do next. But what we know is coming next, we've got past guests of the show, Christine Faria, going to war with one Beck Rawlings. And you've got Mike Perry versus Luke Rockhold in his bare knuckle debut in the main event. And you've got Chad Mendez versus Eddie Alvarez in a bare knuckle fight. And you've got Ben Rothwell looking to decapitate another soul. So before we get out of here, I figure we can end the show on a little bit of the other side of this show, and that ends with the fisticuffs. J-Bone, how are you feeling about this BKFC 41 card? And we'll start with the ladies first. How do you see Christine Faria versus Beck Rowling?
Oh, it's gonna be a war, man. It's gonna be a good one. But if I gotta make a pick, I'm taking Beck Rawlings on this one.
Wow. Going against past guests in the show.
Hey, man, I'm trying to predict the future here. Right? Look, all love to Freya, but I just think this one, I think she's going to take it, man. Don't tell her I said it, Kyle, okay? Don't tell her I said it.
Well, it's only on a live broadcast. I'll just forget that the little red button is going.
Don't tell her I said
and then what? And then what am I supposed to tell her when she comes back on the show?
Well, maybe she'll prove me wrong, and then I'll stick my foot in my mouth. No harm, no foul.
Hey, Chris, do you got any thoughts on this BKFC 41? What do you think with Christine Faria and Beck Rowling?
Look, it's like, sloppy joes. It's fun. It's entertaining. Just you look at some of these people, it's like, wow, you couldn't have gone someplace else.
These two can both fight, though.
I know, but like Rockhold should be like in 1FC or Bellator. Like he still has like.
Should he though after that fight with Costa?
Okay,
Bellator maybe, but I mean
Bellator. Like 185 is not a deep division. Once you get past like 170, you start going up. These divisions get like thin because there's not enough talent. I mean, most guys who are that big are not doing MMA. They're playing football. They're playing hockey. They're, doing basketball. They're not going into MMA. So it's not like, there's this abundance of like 135, 145, 155, 170. You're getting guys sometimes who like Rook Rockhold is still a top 10, middleweight in UFC. Bellator, he'd be a top, 5 or 6 guy. So
yeah, but I bet you he's getting paid. I mean, what do you think on this one? Do you think Beck Rawlings is able to come back in there and get her belt, or do you think Christine's going to keep it?
I think Beck Rawlings will win. Just as I said, it's like Beck Rawlings was in the UFC and Bellator, and it's like, wow, this is a step down. It literally is a step down. You just feel like, wow.
All right. I see. I'm going to be the lone wolf on this one. I think Christine Faria keeps her strap, dude. I feel like she's winning the mental game with it. I feel like she feels like she has something to prove. And from everything I see, she's constantly working. That work ethic, I feel like, will be the difference. I feel like Beck's going to come in there and it's going to be a brawl, but that's going to be a hell of a fight. I'm
pretty excited for Eddie Alvarez to step in there, though. Dude.
I was just about to say, now that fight, bro, is going to end in fireworks. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to last very long.
Yeah,
but good lordy, does that fight have the potential to be a bloodbath?
That's a good fit for a guy like Eddie Alvarez. He's a dog, man.
I think so too, man.
Good fit.
Who do you think wins? You got Chad Mendez or do you got Eddie Alvarez?
I'm taking out Eddie Alvarez. TKO, baby. Let's go.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Chris, how do you like this one? Chad Mendez versus Eddie Alvarez. Who do you think?
Once again, that depresses me also. It's just, Eddie Alvarez was a at one point a great fighter. He was, the lightweight champion for the UFC. He was the face of Bellator. Now it's, and I love Eddie. We've had him on the show. He is as humble as the guys you will come across. He is, the blue collar MMA, all American guy. Just wow. It depresses me. I'm sorry. Neither of them should be fighting. They've taken too much punishment. Like Eddie Alvarez never met a brawl that he didn't like. Chad Mendes, same thing. It's like, all right, just God, guys, retirement is not a bad thing. Just please.
Yeah,
could be
but
the
if
end of
you're
the
gonna make
road.
a
It could be
bag
the end
like
of the
that,
road.
and you feel like you can still fight, man. We'll have to see what happens, dude.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is the end of the road, though. To be honest,
It could be. It could be, but if you're gonna go out and make a bag, dude. I mean, as far as the fight goes, I feel like the fight's gonna be fireworks. But I disagree with you, dude. I think that Chad Mendes is gonna win by knockout. I don't know how. I just feel like Eddie's going to come in trying to land. I feel like he's going to be coming in trying to land. I think he's going to be coming in trying to bang in that clinch. And I think he's going to land. I feel like it's going to be a war, but I don't know. Something about the boxing of Mendez tells me that I think he's going to catch him. And yes, it hurts my feelings that he fucked up my boy. But yeah, I think Chad Mendez is going to win that one. All right, we got the main event of BKFC, bro.
One second, the Lions pick is
Lions
in.
are coming up right now.
Real Levis ain't looking too happy.
No, he's not.
Yeah, don't have no hat in his hand right now.
Yeah, but that'll probably change if all of a sudden the Vikings draft and he's like, oh, I got Justin Jefferson to play with. Okay, not a bad thing.
Let's go.
All right, Holmes.
That's the good news. By the way, tweet of the day from Bobby Burback. I expect the Lions to take another running back.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it.
I swear if they choose a tight end, I'm burning down.
What if they take
I was just thinking that, low-key, dude. I think
Yeah, but I mean, Dalton Kincaid, if you give an extra Rob Gronkowski or Travis Kelce, it's not a bad thing.
At least we went defense.
Wow, we're getting reached. All right, we're getting reached. I'm telling you, the fix is in for
wow.
Somewhere, the Kansas City Chiefs are probably going, all right, we can steal one of these players.
Wow.
We can steal one of these players like Zay Flowers. Somebody call the Cowboys, make an offer. Or the Buccaneers, make an offer. Make an offer, somebody. There's got to be somebody wants to trade. I'm telling you, somewhere there is, I can feel Patrick Mahomes going, get Zay Flowers. I'll take a pay cut.
Pretty damn excited when they opened the draft up.
Because I live for this here. I want fans to go just.
I mean, for this kid to be the Butkus Award winner, bro, you can't be too mad at that, dude.
Yeah, but it's a linebacker from Iowa.
Exactly. They're not
known for athleticism.
Exactly. That's So far, I'm giving this a C draft.
But what if this kid comes in and ends up being like why am I drawing a blank on my man's name?
This is a Dan
Campbell
pick.
Dan
Campbell's probably going, this is a great guy. He's going to.
He's got a high motor.
This is a great high motor
pick.
People, Dan Campbell right now. Yeah.
And look, I give credit to Dan Campbell. He gets the young generation. He gets these young people.
Ooh,
maybe just picked him because of his last name. Who knows?
I mean, it is a great last name. It's mine. My uncle, my cousin. My uncle's the head coach. My cousin just got drafted.
Hey, you can go pick up that jersey now.
I'm worried.
Bro, there's a lot of jerseys that are going to be getting picked up, especially that new Aaron Rodgers jersey. Well, boys, we've talked BKFC. We've talked the WWE draft.
Quick,
we've talked the NFL
draft.
Get
number 8. Real quick, that was smart of him to get number 8 because that matches the number of NFC championship game losses he has.
I like it.
I mean, I'm not mad at the Packers losing. I'm just saying, as a Lions fan, I'm not mad about the Packers losing. But you know what else I'm not mad about, motherfuckers? This Saturday, Lights Out Championship 10. They made the mistake of giving my dumbass a microphone. I'm going to be live on Spectation Sports on pay-per-view. We're going to see some fights. We've got past guests of the show, Austin Bashy in the main event. If you're in the Wayne, Michigan area, you need to come out and check this fight out because it's only going to be a few more times you're going to get to see this kid fight local. Mark my words, the UFC definitely has got eyes on that kid. It will only be a matter of time before you're seeing him up there in Bellator or UFC. And if he keeps beating the caliber of talent like he has been, it's going to be a banger. You've also got Mondo Gutierrez, little brother Miguel is stepping back in the cage. You've got the Cuppy, one of the Cuppy brothers is in the cage. It's going down Wayne Hype Athletic Center. They packed it up. Doors open 6:30. I will be on the mic. If you can't make it, check it out on Spectation Sports. Make sure you do that because I'm telling you, this is one you won't want to miss. I'm just ready to see somebody get cracked because I'm about to have to remind people why they call me Fresh to Death. I was showing J-Bone what time it was before we got out of here, looking like Slick Rick in this bitch. Chris, it's always a pleasure, my brother, man. What do you got coming on the last call?
Well, we got Adam Kodnaki. He's going to be joining us tomorrow. We're very excited. He's going to be talking about fighting on the July 16th, on the June 16th card. He's on his own. He's going to be explaining about also just going to Florida, training out of there. We also have joining us in Bellator next week, Brent Primus will be talking about his big fight in Paris, France. And we're going to also have some guys from talking about NFL draft recap, working on that. And Gary Antoine Russ going to be joining the show. Love having him on. He'll be fighting hopefully on the May 13th card. We're not sure what the main event is because, well, Raleigh Romero's opponent, failed for drug possession. But, hey, we know at least Gary Antoine Russ will be fighting, so that's the good thing.
The good thing is you got to not get caught slipping. Don't get slipping, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We appreciate all of you guys doing that. We're up 200 subscribers since December. 41,000 views this month. We appreciate you. If you're new here, make sure you tell a friend. You never know what you're going to see. Like I said, Lights Out Championship going down this weekend. We will have some heat coming from that. And I heard it might be Shark Week again next week. The return of Mark the Shark Irwin before he steps in that BYB Trigon. Like I said, all the more reason you need to hit that subscribe button. Peace.